Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ian Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports. R&R on
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I'm Howard Robertson.
And I'm the great one, Larry Robinson.
Hey!
What's up with you, brother?
Back again. Doing good, man.
Hey, man, we back. Back like lawn
Back
chairs.
like-
Lawn chairs, back like Chucks and convertible.
Okay.
Convertible cutlasses.
All right, you scared me. Scared me.
What
Yeah,
you
I'm
think?
thinking about something rhyming with back like crack. Back like crack.
Back like crack?
Please don't go
No,
there.
we
don't want to go.
We say back like acid or something.
Or something.
Back like acid.
Something like
back
that.
like heroin.
What's going on? Oh, Lord. That's worse, man. Come on. Oh,
What's happening, man?
Everything's good,
We got an
man.
amazing show today.
We absolutely do. So, we're going to just let you know up front, this is an all NBA show. We're going to talk about, everybody knows by now, I hope, that this is the 75th anniversary for the NBA, right?
Yep, that's right.
You see it everywhere. See that diamond on the back? Look on the back of the seats. Next NBA playoff game you see.
Yep.
They've got it everywhere. I think they've done a really, really fine branding job of establishing that, don't you?
I do, but I think they did a poor job of picking the 75 players.
Wonder if we can talk about that.
I wasn't feeling the 75 players, so we're
You
going to talk
wasn't
about
feeling
some
that.
notable snubs. We're going to talk about some people that we don't think should be on the list.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to round it out with an amazing interview with the great.
Speaking of a primo vintage interview, and looking at this list of players, a few of them, well, I know at least two. I didn't finish looking at the list, but two of them we have had on this show within the few years that we have been doing this show, and that would be Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Absolutely.
And who's the other one?
The great Dr. J.
Julius.
Dr. J. Irvin. So, yeah, that's going to be our conversation guest today. You're going to be listening to the great Julius Irving, but we talking hoops, man.
Yeah.
Give me something that just right off the top stands out to you about the 75 players.
About the 75 players that are
that
on
were
here?
selected, yeah.
I mean, what I think what stands out is some that are included on the list that we don't. Well, I might not think need to be on the list yet. That's not to say that when they do the 100 top players, these players won't be on the list. But I think that I don't think they have contributed enough to the game yet.
Well, let me
and
ask
I think
you
it
this.
was premature to put some of these folks on this list.
Okay, but do you think some of these guys have aged out? Because we got, the first 50, when they had the celebration of the 50 year, they had 50 players. And some of those players were added, and they did not touch those 50 players and added 25.
25 more.
So to me, what I want to know from you is who in that first list of 50 have sort of aged out of this
well,
process.
we're gonna talk about that when we come back. We don't have time to get into that
we
yet.
gonna
But
talk about it.
I'm looking in the list, and I've got some that I think should have aged out. I do believe.
Okay.
I do believe. I mean, when they were playing ball, when it was a dadgum peach basket, it was a whole different. When Naismith, came out of the office going, look at this. This is a new game.
Well, I got a few that we gonna talk about. Number one, we're gonna talk about Bob Cousy.
Okay.
Because I want to know, do you think this cat could perform today in the league that we have? And you got a little bit more knowledge.
I think Bob Cousy was the prototypical quintessential point guard.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bob Cousy versus Chris Paul, just right off the top.
Yeah.
You would take Bob Cousy?
Oh, well, today, no. I wouldn't, because he's dead. I mean, he wouldn't play well today. We are so glad you're here with us on R&R on Sports. We don't know what to do. We will be back for more on the Kazukian Network right after this.
Yo, this your boy Chris Brown.
David West of the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
And you're listening to a little R&R.
R&R on sports.
Blues in the Basement.
Hello.
And the lyrics of the blues songs, like Bobby Rush, can sometimes be a little risque. We just got the music on.
Blues.
Instrumentals.
Loving it.
I don't care if you're young or old.
Blues in the Basement.
Get together, let the good time roll.
Part of the Kazukian Network.
Welcome to another edition of Fly on the Wall. At the tender age of 40, Vince Carter is now the oldest active player in the NBA. Recently, he had a meeting about his future with a league commissioner. R&R on Sports was there, and now you become a fly on the wall.
Vince, I'm Geraldine Gomez, but everybody calls me G-Mama, and I'm the commissioner of the OBL. So nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too, Gerald. I mean, G-Mama. What in the world is the OBL?
It's the OBL, as in OH, as in Over the Hill Basketball League. I'm shocked that you're not familiar with us because we are that necessary next level of basketball for players of advanced age like yourself.
Hold on, Granny. Ain't nothing about my game over the hill. You got me messed up, Grandmama.
That's G-Mama, Mr. Carter, and please do not underestimate the O-League's financial wherewithal to make you a most lucrative offer and help secure your future. There aren't many coaching jobs right after the NBA for colored coaches.
What?
I meant coaches of color. I brought along our league MVP for you to meet, although I'm sure you've heard of the great JoJo Bright.
You mean NBA Hall of Famer JoJo White, right?
Oh, no. I mean JoJo Bright. JoJo White's game was all right, but baby, JoJo Bright's game is all right, uptight, and out of sight. Don't look now, but here he comes.
You mean that old dude coming this way in those tight shorts, long socks, 1962 Chucks, and is that a Walker?
Don't eyeball me, rookie. You belong to me now. Here, go wash my car and bring me back a lobster dinner.
We haven't signed him yet, JoJo.
Oh, never mind.
Man, you look like you come off the bench for the Happy Trails nursing home team.
Rook, you must not know about me. I'm the MVP.
Vince, did I tell you about our TV contract with OSBN?
Never heard of it, but I bet the O stands for old, right?
Well, coincidentally, it is the Old School Basketball Network.
I'm not interested in the OBL, the OSBN, you, or Kunta Kinte over there. I'm out of here.
That's it. Boy, I gotta learn you some respect. Meet me on that court over there.
Man, I ain't fooling with you today. Man, you see I'm rocking these $1,000 Ferragamo shoes. Man.
I'm about to open up a $1,000 can of whoop-ass on your hind part.
JoJo, don't forget your walker.
I don't need no walker for this punk. Oh! Geraldine, I fell and I can't get up. Bring me that walker over there so I can go learn this boy some respect.
Riffin' on jazz.
So all the artists today must be ladies.
Must be.
Oh, my favorite.
You got a problem?
No, that's my favorite.
See, I knew.
Riffin' on jazz on the Kazukian Network.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. So, let me go on and get it out of the way.
Fix it.
The elephant in the room, let me go on and get it out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we are totally and absolutely pleased to inform you that Bob Cousy is still with us. He's 93. He lives in Worcester, Mass. And hey, Bob.
We love you, Bob.
You do, man. But you
still wouldn't be on my 75. You still wouldn't be on my 75.
No. I'd have you on my 75. But if they asked me if I would take you over Chris Paul, and right now the answer would have to be no.
All things being equal, them at the same age, at their prime, would you take Chris Paul over Bob Cousy or vice versa?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I saw Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy was all that in the bag of he was, I'm telling you, he was a prototype point guard. He distributed the ball. He handled the ball very, very, very well.
Okay, Bob Cousy shot 37% from the field. Only averaged 7.5
I said he was
assists.
a 1, not a 2. Two's supposed
Okay, now,
to
see,
shoot.
because to me, when I start thinking about those quintessential point guards, I'm thinking of Calvin Murphy. I'm thinking of who am I thinking? Even Tony Parker would be a quintessential point guard. I think of of Nate Archibald. I think of even Oscar Robertson. In my opinion,
someone's can shoot, and shoot a lot. Cousy, I mean, the percentage was just lower. That's all.
No, man.
He moved the ball.
I get the first 50 because he was on all those championship teams, and that's really probably why he's there, because he was on probably about 10 or 11 championship teams.
Okay, so I'm looking at we're both looking at the list. Okay, we're both.
Well, first let's talk about the people that missed. That just did not make it. 76. There might have been 76, 77, 78, and beyond as far as players are concerned. Let me give you a list of people that did not make it. Okay. All right. Number 1, in my opinion, Klay Thompson. Number 2, Dwight Howard. Number 3, Vince Carter. Number 4, Pau Gasol. Number 5, Dikembe Mutombo. Number 6, Tracy McGrady. Those are 6 people that I think deserve to make it. Now, if we talk about people that are on the list,
okay, let's go 6 that are on the list that could have reasonably, in our opinions, been replaced.
Are we talking about
with
the 25?
6 who aren't on the list? Let's deal with 6. Let's just deal with 6.
Okay.
Manageable.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
You start.
First of all, I don't know who the hell Paul Arizin is.
I don't know.
I don't know Paul.
I've never heard of him.
Remember Paul.
I don't remember no highlights of Paul.
So let Paul be number 1. That's
number
replaceable.
Paul number 1. Okay.
Okay. Paul is replaceable. Now. Okay. So it's going to be some discussion about this.
Okay.
I'm simply saying that I think it's premature at this stage for Anthony Davis, AD, to be on the list.
All right. I got another one. I think it's premature.
Okay.
Damian Lillard. I think Damian Lillard is premature.
I agree.
I think he's very premature. Another one that I would say that I would be concerned about them being one of the best 75, and I know they have a body of work that is really cool, but Jason Kidd. I'm not sure Jason Kidd is a top 75 player of all time. There's another one. Another one being Jerry Lucas. I'm not sure that Jerry Lucas' body of work will stand in today's time with versus the other players of this era combined with that yesterday's era.
Right.
Another one, I would say, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller's a great shooter. A great shooter. Great shooter, led in most three-pointers in history and all those kind of things for many years. But as far as a complete body of work, Reggie is not a champion on any level. Didn't he win at the college level? So when I look at Reggie Miller, outside of him being a shooter, did he take his team, to the top? They went to a championship, so on and so forth. But I still don't see Reggie Miller as being one of the greatest players of all time.
Wait a minute. Okay, based on what you just said about Reggie Miller, okay, and particularly not taking his team to the top and all of that.
Okay.
So how would you, and this is just for point of conversation, how would you justify this guy that's on here whose name is James Harden?
Oh, I definitely, James Harden, though, it's different.
James Harden on one hand, Reggie Miller on the other hand.
Very similar, but Reggie didn't make an MVP.
Your team
Reggie Miller's not an MVP. Huh? Reggie Miller's not an MVP. I don't know how many, and we'll check how many. In fact, Jeremy made 5 All-Stars. James Harden made like 10, and he's still playing. So you still got a player who's already doubled Reggie Miller's output. To me, Reggie Miller was recognized because he is a member of the media. And that's why he was. And that's why I have a problem with the media selecting this list, because the best players to choose who the greatest 75 players are players. And I literally, no matter how much I love the game and how much I watch the game, I am never going to know what it's like to be in between those 94 feet and be playing. And I believe the players should be picking it. But if I got to sit back and cherry pick, Paul Arizin. I don't know who you are.
We did that.
Yeah,
we did that.
So
but let's talk a little bit about now one that I was absolutely
Here's another
totally
one. Here's
shocked.
another one.
What?
Paul Pierce.
You wouldn't have put Paul Pierce on there?
I don't see him being one of the best 75. I don't. I don't. What did he do? He won one championship, and yes, he had an era that he was decent. But as far as when you think about who came up in that era, you got Dwayne Wade and you have Kobe Bryant.
How about I'm shocked that Vince Carter was not on
Vince Carter was a flash. He was exciting.
Oh, man.
He did some amazing things, and he played for a long time. And longevity-wise, yes. But Vince Carter, as a great 75 greatest players, greatest dunkers. Did he lead? How many scoring championships did he win?
If you still
how many scoring championships did Vince Carter win?
Everybody on here didn't win no scoring championships.
I'm just saying. What did he get? How many All NBAs? He might have got 1, 2, 3.
No, I don't know how many was.
3. He got 2 according to our
how many was it?
Research team. He only had 2.
Okay.
All NBAs.
Still.
How many All-Star games? How many All-Stars? How many times was he an All-Star?
The impact on the game. He made a tremendous impact. He left a foot. Would you not agree?
Toronto, he is the basketball god of Canada. Yeah. How many times? He was an 8-time All-Star. I just don't see.
It's some of these old cats they could have rested. Mikan, Dolph Schayes. Yeah,
Bill Sharman.
Bill Sharman. Leave them in the crypts. Lead them to the crypt keepers. But,
There's so many. So while we ask, just go check out the list of 75 players. You will come to your own, and then go to R&R's Facebook page or any of Kazuki page and just put in there, and we'll bring your comments to the forefront.
Meantime, you are about to hear what we believe is one of our best interviews, and we appreciated this interview so much.
We got to get him back.
Because so much came out in terms of that people did not know and about this great cat. Please stay with us. Check out this vintage interview with Julius Dr. J. Ervin.
Human Speed with Kirk Whalum.
Avery Sunshine, I am just overjoyed to spend some time with you.
Listen, what you know about pot liquor? You from Memphis, so you know.
My favorite part of all of that, I'm like, don't throw that away.
Human Speed with Kirk Whalum.
Blues in the basement.
This is Malvin Massey here with you, along with my girl.
Cookie B, baby.
Cookie B.
What?
Good to see you, darling. I love it. We get to do this show every week.
Yes, we do.
I don't care if you're young or old.
Blues in the basement.
Get together, let the good time roll.
Part of the Kazukian Network.
And welcome back to a little R&R on sports. One of our favorite segments is iConversation. We have none other than Dr. J. Julius Ervin. Welcome to a little R&R on sports.
It's a pleasure to be with you guys. I'm looking forward to a good session.
Start us out in terms of how it all began for Julius Ervin.
In the last 11 months, I put my autobiography on the market, which is the truth be told, that journey that you're talking about. And we've had a documentary,
right,
which was nominated for an Emmy, Sports Emmy. Yeah, it literally a week ago Tuesday, and it told a story about growing up in Hempstead, Long Island, and living in a housing projects, and the building of a park next door, and my witnessing the building of this park, taking the area where we used to play sandlot football,
mm-hmm.
and then transforming it into this beautiful park called Campbell Park, you know, with backboards with nets on them, you know, lines on the football field and on the soccer field, and then just some open space for swings and, you know, merry-go-rounds and stuff like that. Literally watching this place being built from my living room window in the projects, and only being, you know, big enough to just be able to peer over the windowsill and having to jump, you know, to get a better view. And, you know, when you jump, like you see something for a split second,
right,
and then you're back on the ground.
Right.
You jump and you see it again,
right,
and you're back on the ground. So I did a lot of jumping, so I could just see that happening.
Oh, so that's where the explosive hops came from, huh?
You know, I think it contributed to it.
Yeah.
And then those swings, when they put the swings in, I mean, that's when I got familiar with the hang time.
Hang time. There you go. There you go.
I used to go down there and jump out of those swings and just feel like flying. And,
wow.
The thing about flying is, you know, if you don't know how to land, then you don't fly as high.
There
right?
you go. Right.
So learning how to land was the key, you know. And if you could land on your feet, or you could land and tuck and roll and not get hurt, then you would jump higher. You know,
right.
You would fly higher. So as a little boy, I used to do that, and I used to enjoy the sensation of flying from just jumping out of swings, man. And, you know, as like a lot of kids running up and down steps, playing on the monkey bars and all that stuff. That was my experience, and I felt very fortunate, you know, to grow up in the suburbs of New York where I had access to a park that allowed me to do that. And it was right next to, you know, my housing project.
Wow. You have become the absolute epitome of cool and class. Where did that come from in Hempstead or Long Island, New York?
There's a lot of cool guys around. And, you know, some of them, you know, had this fraternal instinct. I mean, you know, stopping just short of being a gang. And you know, some of the older guys, they were pretty cool. So they appreciated, you know, bringing somebody in and bringing somebody up in terms of, you know, your development. Like, hey man, you look like a pretty cool kid. You got some potential. You got some athletic talent. So we're gonna keep an eye on you. You know, and some of the push athletically was balanced out with helping you to understand life at an early age. You know, the heartaches, you know, that are a part of it, your acceptance of that. And, you know, well, I mean, I was a teenager, you know, when I was a pre-teenager when I lost the first person in my life, who was my father. And, you know, handling, they would always say, you know, Julius, is not that something happens to you, because stuff happens to everybody. The key is how you handle it and how you bounce back from that. Don't let, you know, misery dictate your life. And you have to be responsible for making your own happiness. And you know, to learn that at the tender age of preteen, you know, those years, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, is very impactful in terms of how I am today, you know, at age 64.
Share how you got the name Dr. J.
You know, I didn't get called Dr. J until I was 21, 22.
Okay. Really?
The previous 6 or 7 years, maybe at about age 15, you know, I had a buddy and we had nicknames. I called him the Professor and he called me the Doctor. And, you know, we're still friends today. I mean, we're like golfing buddies. And his name is Leon Saunders. He changed it to Kwaku, Leon. And he's a great guy, very accomplished guy in the music industry.
Okay.
As a manager and as a agent and as a concert promoter. And he used to call me the Doctor. And we graduated Roosevelt High School together, Roosevelt Junior Senior High. And then we went to UMass together. and we were always really, really good buddies. And now, we remain the best of friends, lifelong friends. And we look back on that, and every now and then I just look at him and say, Professor, you would be in the professor right now, because he's like an argumentative type guy and a lecturer. And every time I call him the professor, he comes back with the doctor. So he put the doctor moniker on me. And after I signed my first pro contract and I went to camp with the Virginia Squires, which is now a defunct team, but they had Dr. Mason, and they used to call the assistant trainer Doc, and there were other people who they called Doc or Doctor. So the trainer, whose name was Bob Travellini, Chopper, he called me Dr. J. And when he called me Dr. J, that just stuck. I mean, that just made a whole lot of sense as to being just called a doctor or Doc. It was Dr. J. And the team started to promote that, and we had a great, great player named Charlie Scott who played with us, who is Hall of Fame worthy and had a great career.
Laurinburg Institute down in North Carolina.
Laurinburg Institute, North Carolina, straight out of Harlem. And so they said, the Virginia Squires featuring Charlie the Great Scott and Julius Dr. J. Irving. And that was the first time I ever saw it sort of in a promotion, saw it up in lights, promoting the Squires. And that's where Dr. J came from.
What landmark moment when you said, wow, I do this really well?
After my sophomore year of college, it was literally that late, because I always looked at myself as a team guy, team player. And in college, I was the leading scorer and rebounder and, posted good stats and whatever. But I always looked at, the things that the other players did that they could do better than me. And sometimes it was something as simple as, shooting jump shots from the corner, or, better free throw percentage. Guy would have a good rebounding game. And he's a monster on the boards or whatever. So when I would always see these things within my teammates, I always felt good about it. And I always felt like we were equals. Then after my sophomore year, I got invited to a camp, which was for the development of the 1972 Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out to Colorado Springs, and, I'm playing. I went out as an alternate because I wasn't with the first 40 guys that they picked from around the country. So I went out as an alternate after somebody got hurt, and I started playing with these guys, and they'd come back to the, to the headquarters where we ate and where we slept, and they would be talking about the pros and what they knew about pro players and what they thought of themselves. And when they said these things that they thought of themselves, it made me kind of assess what I thought of myself, because I was at least as good as the best player, which made me better than most of the other players who were there, all of the other players who were there. And I ended up, we went on tour, and I ended up leading the team in scoring and rebounding. And we toured Russia, Poland, and Finland. So we got played against international competition. And I think at that point, I knew I was, as you said, something special.
What was it like for you going from high school to UMass?
I visited Iowa State University. I visited University of Buffalo. I visited the schools in New York, Manhattan College, Columbia. Went up to Dartmouth, and because I was good academically, so I went to Boston University. Some were too far away from home, and some were, as they say, little fish in the big pond,
right,
versus being the big fish in the little pond. So the program at UMass, they had a great player named Billy Tyndall, and he didn't make it in the pros. I think after he graduated, he played some in Europe, and became a very senior guy at IBM. Because he was very academic, and he was an inspiration. But I looked at the school, I looked at the program, and the relationship between the coach there, Jack Lehman, and my high school coach was long-term, because they had both gone to Boston University together. And I just felt I'd go where I would be comfortable, I'd be able to play, I'd be more of a big fish in a little pond because the program was Yankee Conference, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire, UMass, and Vermont. And I, and at 6'3.5", I mean, I got out of high school. I grew 3 inches after high school.
Oh, really?
I was 6'4.5" when I got there. I was 6'5.5", almost 6'6" when I left there. And so my development was clearly during my collegiate years when I grew and gained weight because I was 163 pounds, and when I got out I was 195.
Okay.
And 6'6", 195, and ready to try and take on the world.
Throwback.
R&R on Sports.
Pitcher, left-hander, Vida Blue. Welcome to R&R on Sports.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on. Let's get it on, man. Let's talk to
That's
baseball.
right.
Talk to sports.
It's R&R on Sports.
Throwback.
Hey, I'm Williams Brack, co-host of Grind Set. The insight you gain from us and our guests will motivate you to take the leap into entrepreneurship. So stay with us. What's your grind set? And if you happen to miss some of our episodes, make sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast provider.
Grind Set on the Kadzukian Network.
Dr. J, a little R&R on Sports.
Do you ever think about, man, if I'd have had an ESPN or some of those other outlets when I was coming along, my life would be a lot different?
Not at all. I pay homage to Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson. I mean, that's like my starting five all time. And I think I picked that team maybe when I was about 15.
Okay.
So I look at those guys, and those guys, they laid the foundation for me. And others, Kareem, Rick Barry, Elvin Hayes, Walt Frazier, Tiny Archibald. We laid the foundation for the guys of today, and they benefit from it. They benefit usually from it, but they also have the loss of total privacy, partial privacy. I mean, it's 24/7, 365 days a year, in which somebody is pulling at them, and whether it's for good or for ulterior motives, they have to deal with that. And I think, we escape some of that and still, and because we escape some of that, we have had some personal privacy that, still exists today. So to have a brand, right now that, I'm very much involved in selling and utilizing, there's still a good feeling about, kicking back and, enjoying my kids, enjoying my grandkids, enjoying my friends, not as a 24/7 celebrity, because of a platform that in part, was created through manipulation. My platform was created on performance.
Right.
Performance on and off the court.
Talk about your life post NBA.
I've tried to be a good citizen first. Just saying that, look, I believe in the American dream, and I believe that the things that I was able to accomplish, particularly things off the court, were available to everybody who wants to be empowered by being educated, for one thing, and then employable. If you're educated and you're employable, that's going to give you some power.
Right.
And that what you do with that power remains up to you. It's really a choice, that you make. And America is the greatest country in the world for allowing that to happen. So you could be down and out on Sunday, and then, on Friday, your world can change dramatically by someone that you meet or something that you read or something that you experience that just allows you to be a part of the American dream. That's what I think is so great. And I always, there's one other thing I always think about, and I always share this with people. Like when you're young and you're going through junior high school and you're going through high school, you're going through college and whatever, and you have this party mentality, and you're thinking, well, the best days of my life are now, so I need to whoop it up and I need to, I need to let it all hang out. Well, it's pretty sad if you come out of college at age 22 and the best days of your life are done.
Right, behind you.
So what do you have to look forward to? So you always have to keep the carrot out in front of you. The best days of your life are yet to come. The best days of Julius Erving's life are still yet to come. And I've had some great days. I've had some great days, some great nights. And I've done a lot of things and visited and met a lot of people, met royalty.
Right.
And, I've been in prisons and seen people, who were down and out. And I always, try to tell them, look, the best, program yourself to think of the best things happening in your life being in front of you. And it might be, reaching age 80 and sitting there with great grandkids, and you watching them play out in the front lawn or whatever. It might be something as simple as that, but have that mentality and have that as a motivation for you getting up in the morning and saying, I'm ready for it. If that best day is happening today, I'm ready for it.
So, Doc, what else is out there, I guess, mountains that you have left to climb?
Just to give you a more full picture of what has happened in the last 30 years, almost 30 years since I've been out. I partnered with Bill Cosby and with J. Bruce Llewellyn. We were the first minorities to own equity in Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, that's right.
Which is the greatest brand in the world. And, we had a Coca-Cola bottling company in Philadelphia for 20 plus years. And now, Coca-Cola Enterprises runs that. We've been in cable TV. I've been in the technological space. I've been in the medical space. I still, under Dr. J Enterprises, right now have business collaborations with a dozen or more companies where we use our brand to make them bigger and better at what they do. And that allows us to stay big and stay, in the public eye, under control, privately held as opposed to publicly held. But I learned a lot about publicly held corporations from being on corporate boards from 1987 right up through, the 2000s, when I was on the board of Saks Fifth Avenue, I was on the board of Sports Authority, I was on the board of Williams Communications Company, LCI International, and took those roles very seriously, 3 different bank boards and hospital boards where, you learn how the world works and how you can make your contributions to the world. So those experiences have helped to sustain me and also sustain my name, face, and likeness as being, somebody who's trustworthy and who can help you to help yourself. Because, my thing, and even with my children and my grandchildren, I don't want to just do for them and make them dependent on me for all of their lives. I want to help them help themselves so that they can create their own platform, and then they can take care of their dependents the right way and then teach their dependents how not to be completely dependent, but to be independent.
Now, you're a granddaddy how many times?
I have 5 grandchildren.
I hear you. When you have the opportunity to counsel with young professional athletes of any sort, share with us the main thing you tell them.
Well, I think the reality is when you're in professional sports is that this is a temporary profession. This is something that you can do for a window, a period of time that is all too short. Unless you're fortunate, to get 10 to 15 years in or 15 to 20 years in, as they do in baseball for the most part. The average time in basketball is 5 or 6 years. The average time in football is 4 years.
Right.
Baseball's longer, hockey's longer, but it's still temporary. It's just something that you're going to do during the time you're allowed to do that and that you can physically get out there and perform. And it's not something that you choose, because all you choose to do is be the best that you can be at your sport, and then you have to be chosen. You have to be either drafted or somebody has to pursue you and want your talent. So of the thousands or tens of thousands of people who want to be there, there's only a few hundred that are going to get there. And there's only less than a few hundred on a yearly basis who actually enter the pro lifestyle. So while you're there, don't take it for granted. Don't take anything for granted. Work hard, be the best that you can be, and, generate assets, preserve them, and understand that there's going to be another phase in your life in which you're going to go from being a pro to being a former pro. And when you're a former pro, you know, you still want your phone to ring. So if you've done the right thing during that time, your phone will ring off the hook probably for the rest of your life. And if you haven't been able to do that and you're not one of those fortunate ones, you need to learn how to make calls and build a network of people that you can reach out to help you help yourself.
Words of wisdom. Doc, you're my hero, man. In recognition of being able to talk to you today on the show, you can't see them, but I got my Chuck Taylor's high tops on, which you well know was a brand of choice for us back in the day. It was the only one.
Well, see, in my day, a little bit.
Ain't nobody talking about you didn't have no day.
In my day, we wore the Dr. J's. Has there ever been a relationship there beyond just the obvious with Converse and the leather Dr. J's?
I'm still a ambassador for Converse. We do have a contract. That's one of our business-to-business collaborations.
Cool.
It's been there since 1974.
Wow.
So we're 40 years with having this relationship. As you know, Converse was acquired by Nike.
Right.
So it's under Nike's umbrella, but still operates as a $6 billion a year company. And I'm one of their ambassadors. So we still, that dozen collaborations that we have, along with the Sixers and, you know, Upper Deck, Panini Cards, and the hospital companies. We still have that, and the door is open because, you know, every time a door closes, another door opens. I mean, that's just simple semantics, the way I see it. So I don't worry about doors closing, and Converse has been great. That's probably been my longest term endorsement, and they have had the Dr. J Pro Leathers, and we've had Dr. J Classics come out, which there was a limited number. My last year, we literally gave away 100,000 pairs of Dr. J Classics to Salvation Army centers around the country, which was 1987. And I spearheaded that along with the guys in Converse, Give Ford in particular. And so that's been a great relationship for 2/3 of my life. And I'm glad you got them on.
That's right. The absolute epitome of an icon. We've been thrilled to talk to Julius Erving on Little R&R on Sports. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Doc.
You're very welcome. It was good talking to you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. You too. Take care. We'll be back in touch. Hope you'll get back with us.
All right. We'll chop it up again.
All right.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
And we'll be back with a little R&R on Sports.
Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, now I'm going to say my friend, Jonathan Capehart.
You came up and tapped me on my shoulder and you said, I'm a big fan. My name's Kirk Whalum. And I just about jumped out of my skin because I was like, wait, Kirk Whalum is saying hi to me? He's a fan of mine? Get out of here.
Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
Welcome back. For more before we head to the door. So,
wait a minute. Before we go any further, I have been corrected.
Make it right.
I have been reminded of my sins.
You have blasphemed.
And I have blasphemed the God of the NBA, the gods of the NBA. I'm sorry. I take back Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is supposed to be 75. I got his stats mixed up, so I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Paul Pierce, I'm gonna bring Paul back on, but I don't know, because he was MVP, Finals MVP, and shoot, man, he balled out. So I gotta bring Paul Pierce back because there's many others that don't deserve it. So bring back Paul Pierce, bring back Jason Kidd. Please forgive me, America. I was wrong upon review of their stats.
Fact of the matter is, what you guys should do, this is your homework assignment. What you should do is go on and print out the top 75 players as voted. I don't know how they arrived at it, but these are the players. And print the list out. Have your own discussions amongst yourselves.
Absolutely.
See what you think about it. I mean, because you're going to have some issues with some folk on there that are on there and that are not most importantly, on there. Some of them you're not going to recognize. Why is he on here? What at him? That's room for even more, a little more research. Look them up and see what they did, especially those who were playing way before you were born. So check it out.
And can somebody tell me who the hell Paul Arizin is?
I don't know who Paul Arizin is. That's my homework. I'm going to look him up.
We're going to look him up.
I'm going to look him up.
Because one of the bad boys that we got to talk about at some point.
He could have played with Naismith.
We get some of his friends. We got to have a show on Pete Maravich, man. Pete Maravich might be one of the coldest white boys ever.
He might be seriously
cold. He and Larry Bird, as far as those players that you would not expect to be just amazingly cold, because they didn't come from an urban environment and all that kind of stuff. But, man, Pete Maravich.
Played with LSU and the Jazz. Floppy socks and all.
Floppy socks and all,
Absolutely.
dude. If you ain't seen any highlights or you want to see some amazing highlights, check out YouTube of Pete Maravich.
We appreciate you being with us here yet again on R&R on Sports. Please do not let this be the last time you're with us. We're here every week on the Kadzukian Network. I'm Howard Robertson.
And I'm the great one, Larry Robertson.
Y'all take it easy. Be cool. Check out the playoffs.
Hey!
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.